There is a terrifying mechanism built into the architecture of your reality, a hidden law that operates exactly like quicksand. I want you to imagine for a moment that you have stumbled into a pit of this treacherous earth. Your instinct, honed by millions of years of evolution, screams at you to fight. It tells you to struggle, to kick, to claw your way out, to use every ounce of your strength to escape the downward pull. But the physics of quicksand are cruel to the desperate. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Your very effort to survive becomes the cause of your demise. The frantic energy you expend only liquefies the sand around you, creating a vacuum that sucks you down faster. To survive, you must do the one thing that feels completely insane to your survival instinct. You have to stop. You have to lean back, spread your arms, and surrender to the pull. You have to trust that by doing nothing, the physics will change, and you will float. This is not just a survival tip for explorers. It is a perfect, brutal metaphor for the most frustrating paradox of human existence. It is what the British philosopher Alan Watts famously called the backwards law. The principle is deceptively simple, but devastating in practice. It states that the more you pursue a feeling of feeling better, the less satisfied you become, because the pursuit itself only reinforces the fact that you lack it. The more you desperately want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually have. The more you desperately want to be loved, the lonelier you become, because your desperation acts like a repellent, pushing people away. It is the cosmic joke. By trying to grab the water, you only disturb the surface and lose the reflection. By trying to grasp the wind, you end up with an empty fist. We have been conditioned by a society that worships the grind. We are told from the moment we can walk that if we want something, we must hunt it down. We must conquer, we must strive, we must exert force. We treat the universe like a vending machine that we can shake until our prize falls out. But have you ever noticed that the things you want the most, the things you chase with a burning, white-hot intensity, often seem to run away from you? It is as if reality itself is elusive prey. The faster you run towards it, the faster it retreats into the horizon. And yet think back to the times in your life when things just worked, the times when the perfect opportunity, the perfect person, or the unexpected windfall just landed in your lap. Were you hunting then? Were you grinding your teeth in desperation? Or were you perhaps distracted, busy with something else, in a state of flow? It is a haunting suspicion that many of us have felt, but few dare to articulate. What if the very act of needing is the block? What if your desire is not the fuel for your manifestation, but the wall standing in its way? This brings us to a mystery that has puzzled sages and madmen for thousands of years. We are going to hunt down the mechanics of this paradox. We are not just talking about thinking positive. We are talking about a fundamental error in how we interact with the machinery of the cosmos. Think of it as a Chinese finger trap. You know those little woven bamboo tubes? You put your fingers in both ends, and if you try to pull them out, the trap tightens. The harder you pull, the more trapped you are. The only way to escape is to push in, to relax, to let go. This is the counterintuitive secret we are here to uncover. The art of the reverse effort, the ancient wisdom that suggests that needing nothing is the magnetic charge that attracts everything. To understand why this happens, we have to look at a story from the ancient text of Chuang Tzu, the great Taoist sage. This isn't just a fable, it is a psychological diagnosis of why you might be failing despite your best efforts. Chuang Tzu tells the story of an archer. When this archer is shooting for nothing, just for the fun of it, or perhaps for a clay tile, his skill is unmatched. His hand is steady, his eye is clear, and his breathing is rhythmic. He is one with the bow. He hits the bullseye every single time because he doesn't care. He is in a state of pure flow. But change the stakes. Tell the archer that he is now shooting for a brass buckle. Suddenly he starts to think. He starts to aim a little more carefully. His shoulder tenses up. Now tell him he is shooting for a prize of pure gold. The archer goes blind. He is not physically blind, but his mind is so consumed by the value of the gold, by the fear of losing, by the desperate need to win, that he loses his skill entirely. He sees two targets. He starts to shake. His skill hasn't changed. He is the same man with the same muscles and the same bow, but his need has destroyed his ability. He cares too much. As Chuang Tzu says, when the prize is gold, you become a confusing wreck. This is the tragedy of the modern human. We are all that archer. We are shooting for the gold of happiness, the gold of status, the gold of love. And because we want it so badly, because we need it to survive, we become wrecks. We miss the target not because we lack the skill, but because our desire has created a turbulence that throws off our aim. Consider the physics of water. Bruce Lee, the martial artist and philosopher, built his entire philosophy around this element. But often we only remember the "be water" quote without understanding the mechanism. If you are in a swimming pool and you panic, if you try to climb out of the water using force, what happens? You sink. The water, which is soft and yielding, becomes a deadly trap for those who fight it. But if you fill your lungs with air and lie back, if you surrender your weight to the water lifts you up. It supports you. The very element that would kill the fighter saves the surrenderer. This is the great irony. To float, you must trust the water to hold you. You cannot try to float. The moment you try, you tense up, you become dense, and you sink. Floating is an act of trust. It is an act of ceasing to do. But why is this so hard for us? Why does our mind rebel against the idea of letting go? It is because we are addicted to the illusion of the hunter. We believe that if we stop chasing, we will starve. We believe that the universe is passive and indifferent, and that we must wrestle our blessings from its cold, dead hands. But the ancient traditions, from the Taoists to the Hermeticists, suggest a completely different model of reality. They suggest that the universe is not a passive void, but an active mirror, a biofeedback mechanism that reflects your state of being back to you with mathematical precision. If you stand before a mirror and you scream at it, the reflection screams back. If you look at the mirror with a face of lack, a face that says, "I need this because I don't have it," the mirror dutifully reflects that lack back to you. The universe looks at your vibration of needing and says, "Ah, I see you are playing the role of the person who needs. I will give you more circumstances that confirm your need." This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It is not just capitalism, it is energetic physics. The rich man operates from a state of having. He expects money, he is comfortable with it. He doesn't chase it with desperation because he already identifies as it. The mirror reflects abundance. The desperate man operates from a state of not enough. He chases, he scrimps, he worries, and the mirror reflects not enough. So we arrive at the precipice of the act of non-doing. We have established that the chase is a trap. We have established that your desperate effort is the very thing liquefying the sand beneath your feet. But this leaves us with a terrifying question. If we stop running, if we stop hunting, if we stop fighting the water, what do we do? Do we just sit on the couch and wait for $1 million to fall through the ceiling? Do we become passive observers of our own decay? Absolutely not. That is the misunderstanding that kills the practice. Surrender is not passivity. Floating is not dying. There is a third way, a way of moving through the world that is neither fighting nor sleeping, a way of acting that leaves no trace, of working without effort, of attracting without begging. The ancients called it Wu Wei, the art of effortless action, and it is not just a philosophy, it is a technical manual for hacking the resistance of reality. To understand the mechanics of this third way, we must first clear up a massive linguistic misunderstanding that has plagued the West for centuries. When we hear the term Wu Wei, which roughly translates to non-action or inexertion, our industrial work-obsessed minds immediately interpret it as laziness. We think of a person lying on a couch, waiting for destiny to deliver a pizza. But this is a fatal error. Wu Wei is not the absence of action, it is the absence of friction. It is the art of cutting through life without dulling your blade. Think of the difference between a rower and a sailor. The rower is a figure of pure effort. He is using his own limited muscular energy to force a vessel against the resistance of the water. He is sweating, his back is turned to his destination, and every inch of progress is paid for in calories and pain. If he stops moving. He is fighting the element he is traveling through. Now look at the sailor. The sailor is not passive. He is incredibly alert, but he is not using his own energy to push the boat. He is using the vast, infinite energy of the wind. He reads the environment, he adjusts his sails, and he lets the forces of nature do the heavy lifting. He is working with the reality, not against it. This is Wu Wei. It is the shift from rowing, trying to force a relationship, trying to force a career, trying to force happiness, to sailing where you align yourself with the currents that are already moving. You are still steering, you are still present, but the motive power comes from the universe, not from your exhausted ego. There is a famous story in the Taoist texts about a butcher named Ding. This butcher was so skilled that he had used the same knife for 19 years, and it was still as sharp as if it had just come from the whetstone. When the king asked him how this was possible, Ding explained his secret. He said that a bad butcher hacks at the bone and dulls his blade in a month. A good butcher cuts through the meat and needs a new knife in a year. But Ding, the master, operates with spirit. He looks for the spaces between the joints. He knows that even the tightest joint has a gap, and the blade has no thickness. If you insert what has no thickness into the gap, there is plenty of room to move. He never hacks. He never forces. He navigates the empty spaces. This is the secret of the void we spoke of earlier. Success lies in finding the path of least resistance, the empty space where the Tao flows, and sliding into it. Most of us are hacking at the bones of our lives, dulling our spirits, exhausting our minds, and wondering why everything is so hard. We are trying to cut through the solid rock of reality instead of finding the vein. But how do we apply this? How do we stop hacking and start sailing? It begins with a radical shift in how we handle obstacles. This brings us to the philosophy of water, famously popularized by Bruce Lee, but originating from the deepest roots of ancient wisdom. We have all heard the quote, "Be water, my friend." But let's strip away the pop culture veneer and look at the physics of it. Water is the most yielding substance on Earth, yet it can wear away stone. It conquers the hard, not by attacking it, but by surrounding it. The principle here is that rigidity is the hallmark of death, while flexibility is the hallmark of life. Consider a mighty oak tree in a hurricane. It stands tall, rigid, and proud. It says to the wind, "I will not move. I am strong." And because it is rigid, because it resists the massive force of the storm, it snaps. It is destroyed by its own strength. Now, look at the bamboo or the willow. When the gale comes, the bamboo yields. It bows all the way to the ground. It offers no resistance. It becomes one with the wind. And when the storm passes, the bamboo snaps back up, unharmed. It survived because it did not fight. In your life, when a crisis hits, when a bill comes that you can't pay, when a relationship ends, your instinct is to be the oak. You tense up, you deny, you fight, you panic. You become rigid with fear, and that is when you break. The be water principle invites you to yield, to accept the situation exactly as it is without judgment, without the story that this shouldn't be happening. By accepting the present moment, you stop wasting energy on resistance. You become the bamboo. You preserve your energy so that when the wind dies down, you can spring back. This yielding is not weakness. It is strategic genius. Water always seeks the lowest point. It is humble. It doesn't insist on climbing to the top of the mountain. It flows to the valley. And by flowing to the valley, it creates rivers, lakes, and oceans. It unites with everything. In our lives, we are obsessed with climbing, with being high status, with being right. We are terrified of the low ground. But the Tao suggests that the low ground is where the power is. The ocean is the king of all streams because it lies lower than them. All streams must flow to it. If you want to attract abundance, you must be like the ocean. You must lower your ego. You must stop trying to be the most impressive person in the room and become the most receptive. When you are empty of the need to prove yourself, you become a basin into which the world pours its secrets and its gifts. The high peaks remain dry. The deep valleys get the water. This leads us to the third and perhaps most difficult component of our manual, the mirror mind. We have talked about how to act, sailing, and how to survive, yielding. But how do we handle the chaos inside our own heads? The monkey mind that screams, "I need this, I need that," is the very thing disturbing the reflection we want to create. Most of us try to silence the mind by fighting it. We try to force ourselves to be calm. We yell at our anxiety. We try to meditate with the aggression of a wrestler. But Alan Watts gave us the perfect image for why this fails. He said, "You cannot smooth the water with a flat iron." Imagine a pool of muddy water. This mud represents your chaotic thoughts, your fears, your desperate needs. You want the water to be clear. So what do? You stick your hands in and try to push the mud down. You try to scoop the clear water to the top. But the more you mess with it, the more you stir the mud. The water becomes dirtier, more turbulent. The only way to clear muddy water is to leave it alone. You have to take your hands off. You have to sit on the bank and wait. Given time, the law of gravity, a natural, effortless law, will pull the mud to the bottom and the water will become crystal clear. This, leaving it alone, is the hardest thing for a modern human to do. We are addicted to fixing. We think that if we are not worrying about a problem, we are not solving it. We think that worry is a form of work, but worry is just stirring the mud. The practical application of this is the fast from needing. It is a challenge I offer you. For the next 24 hours, whenever a problem arises, a text that hasn't been answered, a bill that is looming, a confusion about your path, do not try to fix it immediately mentally. Do not stir the mud. Say to yourself, I am going to let the mud settle. Step back. Distract yourself with something present and physical. Wash the dishes. Take a walk. Do the work that is in front of you, but do not touch the problem with your worry. You will find that when you stop stirring, the solution often rises to the surface on its own. It appears in the clear water. This is because the subconscious mind, the connection to the infinite intelligence, operates best when the conscious mind gets out of the way. When you stop needing the answer right now, the answer comes. It is the same phenomenon as forgetting a name. You try to force it and it's gone. You give up, you go make a sandwich and the name pops into your head. Why? Because you stopped stirring the water. You got out of your own way. These three principles, sailing instead of rowing, yielding like water, and letting the mud settle, form the triad of the magnetic life. They are the antidote to the Chinese finger trap of existence. But they require a fundamental shift in identity. You have to stop seeing yourself as a separate entity fighting against a hostile universe and start seeing yourself as part of the flow itself. You are not a stranger in this world. You grow out of this world in the same way an apple grows out of an apple tree. The universe is not trying to starve you, it is trying to circulate through you. But your tension, your need, your grip is pinching the hose. Think about the circulation of blood in your body. If you clench your fist as tight as you can, the blood stops flowing to your hand. Your hand turns white, then blue. It becomes numb. It starts to die. The hand is screaming, I need blood, I need blood. But the very act of clenching is preventing the blood from entering. This is what we do with our desires. We clench around them. We grip them so tight that we cut off the circulation of life. The moment you relax the hand, the blood rushes back in. You didn't have to attract the blood. You didn't have to manifest the blood. The blood was always there, pressurized and ready to flow. You just had to stop blocking it. The abundance you are seeking, the money, the love, the health, is like the blood. It is the natural circulatory system of the cosmos. It wants to flow into you. It is trying to get in. But your need, your belief in scarcity, your desperate grasping is the clenched fist. You are pinching the hose and begging for water. The practice then is not to learn how to attract. You are already attractive. You are a piece of the cosmos. The practice is to learn how to unclench, to learn how to trust that if you open your hand, you will not lose everything, but rather, you will finally allow the circulation to resume. This brings us to the edge of the known map. We have the manual. We understand the mechanism. But to truly live this, to truly walk away from the mirage and sit in the shade, we have to confront the final boss. We have to confront the fear that says, if I don't control everything, I will die. We have to look at the ultimate philosophical implication of this surrender, because if you are not the one rowing the boat, who is? If you are not the one rowing the boat, and if you are not the one forcing the river to flow, then who or what is in charge? This brings us to the most terrifying and liberating realization of the entire hunt. The reason we cling, the reason we grasp, the reason we are so addicted to needing is because we are suffering from a case of mistaken identity. We have convinced ourselves that we are these tiny, fragile, isolated egos locked inside bags of skin, navigating a hostile and alien universe. We feel like intruders. We feel like we have been thrown into this world and that we must fight for our slice of it before we die. If that is your operating system, then of course you are desperate. Of course you are rowing against the current. You are a biological accident, fighting against entropy. But the ancient wisdom traditions, from the Vedantic sages of India to the Taoist masters of China, suggest that this is a hallucination. They propose a radical shift in perspective. They say, look at the wave and the ocean. The wave has a form, it has a height, it has a duration. It can be a big wave or a small wave, but can the wave ever be separate from the ocean? Can the wave say, I need water? It would be absurd. The wave is water. It is a specific behavior of the ocean. In the same way, you are not a stranger in the universe. You are a behavior of the universe. You are something the whole cosmos is doing, right here and right now, in the same way that a wave is something the whole ocean is doing. This is the ultimate cure for the disease of needing. You don't need the universe to give you things because, at the deepest level, you are the universe. The intelligence that spins the galaxies, the intelligence that orchestrates the complex dance of your DNA, the intelligence that beats your heart without you having to think about it. That is you. It is the big self, the little self, the ego, the name you call yourself, the history you tell yourself, is just the mask the big self is wearing for a little while. The moment you realize this, the finger trap falls apart. You realize that trusting the flow is not giving up control to a stranger. It is giving up the illusion of control to your own higher nature. Think about it this way. You trust your body to do billions of complex chemical operations every second without your conscious supervision. You don't wake up in the morning and say, "Okay, liver, start filtering toxins." Heart beats 70 times a minute. Stomach secrete acid. It happens through you, effortlessly. You are already in a state of wu-wei with your own biology. You trust the intelligence of life to grow your hair and digest your food. So why, when it comes to your career, your relationships, or your finances, do you suddenly think, "I have to handle this manually"? Why do you trust the mystery to grow your bones but not to grow your abundance? It is the same intelligence. It is the same flow. The need arises only when you think you know better than the flow. When you stop needing, you are essentially switching your life from manual override back to autopilot, and the autopilot is divine. This is why the need-nothing paradox works. It is not that you become a vegetable, it is that you become a clear channel. When the pipe is empty of debris, the water can rush through. When the mind is empty of "I need, I want, I must," the inspiration rushes through. You start to get ideas that feel like they aren't coming from you, but through you. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, not because you planned it on a spreadsheet, but because you drifted there on the current of intuition. This is the state of the magician archetype. The magician doesn't work, the magician gestures, and the elements obey because the magician understands he is made of the same stuff as the elements. So what is the practical implication of this mind-blowing shift? How does this change how you wake up tomorrow? It means you move through the world with what the Zen masters call open hands. Most of us live with clenched fists, trying to hold on to what we have and grab what we don't. But a clenched fist can neither receive nor give. It is a posture of defense and fear. Living with open hands means you hold your desires lightly. You have preferences, yes. You would prefer to be wealthy. You would prefer to be healthy. But you do not have requirements. You do not say to the universe, "I will be happy only if this happens." You say, "I am open to this or something better." This subtly shifts your vibration from desperation, which repels, to invitation, which attracts. You become like a host throwing a party. The host prepares the house, sets the table, and opens the door. But the host does not run down the street tackling people and dragging them inside. That would be madness. That would be the finger trap. The host trusts that the preparation and the open door are enough. By needing nothing, you are simply keeping the door open. You are signaling to reality that you are ready, that you are not afraid, and that you are whole regardless of who shows up. And in that energy of wholeness, the guests always arrive. The opportunities knock. The oasis appears, not because you chased it, but because you sat down and became the kind of person an oasis belongs to. We have hunted this mystery from the scorching sands of the desert parable to the mechanics of the Chinese finger trap, and finally to the oceanic realization of who you really are. We have seen that the chase is a cultural lie designed to keep you on a treadmill of dissatisfaction. We have seen that the true power lies in the counterintuitive art of the reverse effort, of sinking to float, of yielding to conquer, of emptying to fill. It is a dangerous idea, really. It threatens the entire structure of a consumer society built on manufacturing lack, but it is the only idea that offers true liberation. The challenge I leave you with is not to believe me. Do not take these words as dogma. Test them. Treat your life as a laboratory. Pick one area where you have been struggling, fighting and needing with all your might, and just for a week, drop the rope. Stop pulling. Stop stirring the mud. Apply the law of the reverse effort. Lean back. Treat it as a game. Watch what happens when you remove the resistance. Watch how the reflection in the mirror changes when you change the face you are showing it. This has been a hunt through the archives of the invisible, a wild mix of documented ancient philosophy, quantum speculation, and tantalizing what-ifs, based on the bibliographical sources that map the edges of human consciousness. But the map is not the territory. The only way to know the truth is to walk the path yourself. What do you think? Is your desire the fuel or is it the brake? Is it possible that the thing you are running towards is waiting for you to stop running so it can catch up? If these ideas resonate with you, consider subscribing so we can continue this journey into the unknown together. And until we meet again in the void, remember, you are not the drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. So why are you afraid of drying up?